Okay, so this is a little tutorial on Desmos and how to use this graphing calculator. To get onto Desmos, all you need to do is go into URL and type desmos.com/calculator, and that will bring you to this free graphing calculator website. Now, you can create an account if you like, but you actually don't have to. You can even save graphs that you've been working on if they're complex enough that you want to save them. You can save them without an account too. They'll just give you a link to a URL that you can always go back to for that particular equation or set of equations that you were working on. All right, so to make a graph, all you really need to do is type in some kind of expression here, some sort of algebraic symbolic expression, so something like 2x plus 5. There you go. So this technically isn't an equation, but what the calculator does is it really just assumes that you always are typing something like y equals 2x plus 5. So if you just type in some expression here or some function, it will assume that you want the outputs for that particular expression plotted onto this y-axis here. So, so you can say y equals 2x plus 5, or you can just write 2x plus 5. That goes for any other kind of function that you would like as well. So for example, if you want a trigonometric function, you can just type in sine of x instead of y equals sine of x, and so on. You can do a whole bunch of other stuff with this as well. So as an example, let's say you want to type in the equation of a line, but you maybe want to play around with the slope or something. So you could say mx plus b, right? Because we know y equals mx plus b is really the slope of a line. And what I've done here, and I just kind of skipped through, is when you type in mx plus b, if you type in letters like m and b, and letters that usually aren't associated with a variable, what you can do is you can add sliders. So what these sliders do is they change the value of whatever letter you've got in your original expression up here. So for example, with the graph of a line, we know that the b value in y equals mx plus b form is really just the y-intercept. Here we can see that the b value is negative 3, and we can see the y-intercept of the corresponding graph is also at negative 3. I'll put this into projector mode to make everything thicker, so hopefully you can see that more clearly. Here we have a y-intercept of negative 3. If I want to simply shift this whole line up or down, all I have to do is change the b value. And I can change that b value with this slider here. So here I'm increasing the b value, and equivalently, we can see here the y-intercept has also changed. Now, this b value isn't the only thing we can play around with. We can also play around with the m value. So what would that change? Well, the coefficient in front of your x variable in a linear equation like this, that's just going to represent your slope. So here, if I look at my m value of 1, I have a slope of 1, or a rise of 1 over a run of 1. If I increase that slope, or increase that m value, we can see a corresponding increase in the slope. Here I have a slope of 10, which is quite a steep slope, as you can see. But if I want to start manipulating this line and making it less steep, I can decrease the m value, or the value of the slope, the coefficient in front of your x term. So if you want to be even more playful with this, you can see there is the option on the left of this slider to just press play. And if you press play, it just runs through different slopes for you. And you can also press play with this y-intercept parameter, this b parameter as well. And then your line is just sort of moving up and down, and the slope is changing as well. So that's at least a little beginning introduction into how you can use Desmos to graph different lines and play around with them, and look at how changing particular parameters might affect the graph that you're interested in.